All right, Mariposas. You play as butterflies. Specifically, All right.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Talking Cardboard. We've got a first impressions video here. So if you like our content, make sure you hit the like button below, leave a comment. We love interacting with our audience, especially Corey. He's very active on the chat. So without further ado, we're gonna get into our initial response of Mariposas. We have John, myself, Jurch, and Corey here. Corey, explain to us what Mariposas is about.
It's the brand new game by Elizabeth Hargrave. She was a first-time designer last year with the big hit Wingspan. It got much love, much buzz, and I know we all really enjoyed that game, so we were excited to try this game out. Completely different style game, though. I guess John can go into the gameplay on how it works, but in my opinion, a lot lighter than Wingspan.
I think it's pretty straightforward. Basically, you're playing as, your little group of monarch butterflies that's starting in Michoacan, Mexico, and you're kind of migrating from there up to Canada throughout the different seasons of spring, summer, and fall. Yep. Along the way, you have these cards that you play on each of your turns. You have 2 cards in your hand. They're each different movement cards. Depending where you land on the board, you're collecting basically a different type of flower that you will then later use to hatch new butterflies based on matching flowers together. Otherwise, you are landing on some of the cities in which you're collecting these like life cycle cards, which provide you with bonuses either during the game or at the end of the game. And then the only other really thing you're kind of worrying about in this game is that for each season you're in, there are like bonus objectives that get you some, end game points. And the last thing you have to worry about is getting your butterflies back down to Michoacan by the end of the fall to get like the max amount of bonus points you can get in this game.
Yeah, the theme of this game, it's very thematic, but I think it's like abstractly thematic.
Right. Because
the board is structured where you are starting down in Mexico, and then you are progressing up north, like John said, to Canada, and it has United States cities and then a few Canadian cities along the way, along the places that you can stop, which is very thematic to the yearly migration of the monarch butterfly. It's abstract and colorful, but it flows that theme of you travel north because that's the migration pattern of your butterflies. And then even though you don't have to travel back south to Mexico by the end of the game, you get a whole lot of bonus points if you can get butterflies back there by the end of fall.
Right.
Yep.
Which we found in our initial playthrough is pretty tough to do.
Very difficult.
Yeah. So Corey, what were your initial thoughts on the game?
My initial thoughts coming into it was, I guess I was expecting more out of the game initially than what was presented. Like George said too, it's a very colorful game. The presentation is beautiful. The artwork is very nice looking. So that kind of helped bring me in initially, but I was expecting more strategy. I don't know. I guess coming off of Wingspan, I just had different initial thoughts. Once we got going in the game, though, I understood that it was more of a gateway level, light style game, which is definitely not bad either. As the game progressed, it's basically set collection. You're set collecting different flowers to get bonus points, and the different goals are very variable too, so that was really cool. That was one of my big pros, is I can see that that each game will be interesting every time you play because of the variable goals. But yeah, it's just super light, which is not a bad thing, but it turned out to in the end be a good thing if you knew what you're getting yourself into.
I was surprised at how different it was from Wingspan, because
Yes.
you can tell from a lot of publishers, a lot of game designers, that there are themes or a lot of common structure. This game is very, very different.
Yeah.
And I liked it for that fact. It was light. There not a lot of different things you can do on your turn. There are plenty of different avenues you can take. But it wasn't like Wingspan, where it's a very, very heavy game.
Right.
And for somebody like me that suffers from a lot of analysis paralysis, Wingspan really slows the game down for everybody else. And that's, me trying to work through everything. But this game was a lot faster. And it was a lot easier to see your avenues for success and to make changes in strategy. Even though it is, I guess I would say, even if it being an entry game, that's not a knock on it.
No.
Like, I think that makes it a very approachable, light, but still fun and thematic game for people to jump into. John, what most surprised you when you first started playing?
I think along the lines Corey was talking about with the different goals for the seasons, I really like that, especially since I think the goals for each season actually correspond to like where on the board you would realistically be as you're migrating on this chain north and then back south. So I thought that was really cool. I honestly would think that there's actually a little more strategy than these guys are alluding on to, because I think even though the game in itself is just collecting flowers to then upgrade and hatch new monarch butterflies while your old ones die, I think there is a strategy to making sure, like, you have one action a turn and you're moving your 1 or 2 butterflies, maybe 3, but in that case it'd be like 1 space each. But I think there's a lot of strategy that can be had in where you hatch your new butterflies, because if you plan that out well, I think it would be more feasible to actually get your level 4 butterflies back down into Mexico to get those bonus points at the end of the game if you actually plan that out very carefully, like from the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's definitely true. I guess for me, there was a lot more push your luck than I thought, though, too. It seemed like, how far did you want to go? And like John said, too, how far do you push a certain level of monarch butterfly? Because you don't want to push them necessarily up too far, because once you upgrade them to that final level 4, you want them to be close enough down south, to get them back to Mexico in time to really benefit from those max amount of points. So a little bit of push your luck, I thought.
I guess I would say maybe not luck like you're rolling dice, but it's like pushing your skill or pushing your resources. So
Yeah.
But this is an initial review. We're going to play through it a bunch more times. Overall, we really were excited to play this game more.
Yeah.
So Corey, initial thoughts. Do you think there's a con to this game that you see popping up?
The only con I could see, I know we've only played it the one time, but maybe with more consecutive plays, I think the variable goals and objectives, I hope, shine true to making the game feel different every time. I know the lightness on the strategy initially in our first play seemed a little bit too light for me, but maybe those goals will bring some new light to it each time.
Yeah, but and we'll see. It was very easy for us to pick up initially. It seemed like it was a very teachable game, and we'll see when we teach it to Kaylor and other people if it'll maintain that ease and get their feedback on it. So John, on a scale of 1 butterfly to 5, which is your usual rating for things on a butterfly scale, how would you rate your level of excitement to play Mariposas again?
I definitely say I'd probably at about 4 butterflies. Pretty excited to at least try it a couple more times, get a better feel for the different strategies, seeing those other objectives. I actually never even got my butterflies up to the northern part of the map. I kind of just hovered around the middle and then tried to come back down. So I'm just curious to see if I can do a better job at getting those, final version, the level 4 butterflies back to Mexico.
Yeah, especially the double 4s.
Yep.
Yeah, and I would say I'm about a 4 or 4.5 out of 5 butterflies on this. I did win last time, so I want to keep up that
by 1 point.
That streak going. Yes, by 1 point. Yeah, but a win's a win, because like they say in the Butterfly Kingdom, every point matters.
That's exactly what they say.
Yeah. So Corey, your excitement?
My excitement, I would say, is probably 3 butterflies out of 5, and that's just for that little bit of a con that I said earlier. I'm excited to play it again. I just really hope it has the legs and the stay power to keep coming back to the table. Given how light the game is, I just hope those variable goals and objectives make the game new and fresh every time. But it's still 3 out of 5 butterflies, which is good.
And your score would probably go up if you didn't finish in last.
I thought I did fine. I only lost by like 4 or 5 points.
Yeah.
Maybe 6.
12.
So, yeah.
Well, you know what they say in the Butterfly Kingdom. 6 points is a dozen points. So without further ado, this was just our initial response. Stay tuned later. Connected with us on Twitter. And make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. And we will have a longer review of Mariposas later on. So take care, stay safe, play some games. And watch out for those butterflies, because it's getting close to migration season for them. Take care.